On today's video, I want to share with you something I titled Foundations for Successful Marriage or Relationship. Over the years, by the mercies of God, I have come to realize that a relationship or a marriage that is not laid on the right foundation, it will not stand. Hello guys, my name is Franklin from the Push Talk, and on today's video, I really want to share this stuff with you because, something I've discovered even from counseling is that many people have not taken our time to set the right foundations for their marriage or for their relationship. And so in the long run, it became a problem. Beloved, if you truly want your marriage to stand out, you want your relationship to stand out, your courtship, you want it to stand out, there are certain foundations upon which it has to be laid. And so I'm going to be sharing this few stuff with you. Number one, the first thing that needs to be done is that your marriage must be built on respect. Make no mistakes about it. As long as the both parties are respectful or they respect each other, then that marriage is standing on a solid foundation. I've seen relationships, I've seen marriages where there are no respect, both from the man and from the woman. The woman talks to the man any way she likes, and then the same vice versa. They insult each other, say different things to each other, which is not good. Respect is so important. One of the things I and my wife, we decided when we got married was that we will not use abusive language for each other. It was a decision we made and we began to run in that path. Initially, it didn't look as though, it was going to be a solid thing in our home, but that is what we have today. We respect each other. We try as much as possible not to go beyond these boundaries. And if you build your home like this, you build your marriage like this, your life will be sweet and easy, I'm telling you. So respect is something that you must establish in your marriage or relationship. Another foundation that will help your marriage is the foundation of zero abuses. This is very important. As a man, do not be quick to insult your wife. When you do that, you've given her room to speak to you in ways that will hurt you real deep, I'm telling you. So this is something that you really need to work on, you and your spouse. As a young lady, do not insult your husband. Avoid it. Build on this truth because it will help you a great deal. Another thing that must be done, another foundation, is a foundation of unconditional love. Hear me. When I'm talking about unconditional love, I'm talking about love that has no conditions. Actually, this is the kind of love that sustains marriage. There are different kinds of love. They have eros, which is love between a man and a woman. That only ends up in erotic love. But there is something called agape. Agape is the love of God. When you are loving your spouse with the love of God, when they make mistakes, you tackle it from God's standpoint. You love them beyond their mess. So unconditional love is something that you have to try as much as possible to establish in your home. Now, I must be very honest with you, it's not going to be easy. You need to grow in it. You need to grow in it. It is unconditional love that makes you to look beyond the mistake of your spouse and still want to continue in the journey of life with them. Unconditional love. So that's something that, everyone needs to step up. We need to grow in it. Okay? It's a foundation that, a marriage can stand on, and the marriage will not fall. So that's something that you really, really need to work on. Another foundation upon which your marriage can stand is, the atmosphere of no foul language. Avoid foul language in your marriage. Avoid it at all costs. Eliminate it. And one of the reasons you need to do this is because when you do that, you create that atmosphere in your home, and your children will not imbibe the wrong language. They may bring it from school, but when it gets to the house, it ends in the house. This is a foundation upon which your marriage should stand. Establish it now. It may not look easy. Maybe some of you are really used to using foul language. Work on it now. You can do it. That's the truth. You can do it. So that's something that needs to be worked on. And then another foundation upon which your marriage should be laid is communication. Communication is so important. I cannot stress this enough. When it comes to marriage, my friend, communication is like the driver of everything. Communication lines must be open. There are couples today who don't speak. The woman does not speak, the man does not speak. Things are happening in the home and everybody's just busy keeping quiet. And at the end of the day, such marriage does not stand. Such relationship does not stand because no communication. So this is something that you need to deliberately work on. Deliberately establish it. Let communications be there. I learned this years ago from a video like this, from someone who was into marriage counseling, and he was doing a video and he went a long way in speaking about the importance of communication in marriage. And I learned a lot, which has helped me in my marriage up till this day. Asking questions, getting to know, because there are times when your spouse may not want to express how they feel, but through asking questions, you pull these things from their heart. Through asking questions, you get them to talk about some of the things that are troubling them. There are times when the reason they don't want to speak is because they don't want you to be offended. They don't want you to become troubled. So instead of speaking about it, they just choose to keep it to themselves. But I can tell you this, that those things, they kill communication. You get the point now? But when communication lines are open, it helps a great deal. So you learn to ask questions. Are you okay? Are you angry? What's going on with you? Do you want to talk about it? So these questions, when you ask these questions, you are giving room. And then you are letting your spouse know that you are the listening type. Because there are some men today who don't listen to their wife. Some women who don't listen to their husband. Their focus is on a whole lot of other things, to the point that they are paying little or no attention to their spouse. I want to encourage you in this video, if there is one thing that you must not miss out on in your relationship or in your marriage, there is one thing you must not miss out on. Don't miss out on this thing: giving attention. Pay close attention to your spouse. It's so important. The reason is because if you are not paying attention, when things begin to go wrong in their lives, you will hardly take note. When they change towards you, you will hardly take note because you are not paying attention. The power or the role of attention in marriage cannot be overemphasized. It's so important. I saw one of these storytelling videos that, that is all over the internet, Facebook, about this young lady. She was diagnosed of cancer. She was dying of cancer. But her husband was too busy to take note. He comes in very late at night, leaves very early in the morning, and that continued again and again for so long. And the man came one day and said, "I'm done with this marriage. Everything has changed. I'm done. I've seen someone else I want to get married to." That crushed this lady's heart, crushed her heart so badly. And then the lady said, "Okay, if this is what you want divorce, no problem, but you have to agree to my terms." Then the man said, "Okay, what are your terms?" And she said, "First, we will act as though everything is okay in the presence of our child, so that he does not know what is actually going on between us." Said, "And secondly, every night I want you to carry me to the bed, just the same way we used to do it when we got married." And the man was like, "Is that all?" She said, "Yes." And he was like, "Okay, that's totally fine." And so they began to do this. When the child sees them, all the child sees was that, wow, mommy and daddy, they are loving each other so much. And this continued. Every day the man would do this. And he was supposed to do this for 21 days. Carry the lady and straight to the room, take her to bed. And while this was going on, the man didn't know that the lady was getting closer to the timing she had been told she would leave this world. And because he was not paying attention, he didn't know what was happening. And he kept on doing this. The more he did this, the more that love for his wife began to come back. A lot of times, most people don't know why their love for their spouse began to die. A lot of times is because of the lack of attention. You've got to understand, love is a living thing. Love needs to be nurtured. If love is not nurtured, it cannot blossom. Love is like a child. The more you give a child attention, the more that child will grow into becoming the best version of his or herself. The more you give attention to your spouse, the more love begins to grow. And when love grows, you enjoy it. So the man discovered that he began to like the wife again because now he was giving attention to her. Unfortunately, on the last day, the man went to the other young lady and said, look, I'm not going to divorce my wife again. I just discovered that I love her more than I thought. So he ran back home wanting to give the wife the good news, only to get home the wife was gone, leaving him a letter. It was in that letter that was when the man got to realize all his mistakes. You don't want that for your spouse. Give attention. Don't be so busy. Don't be so busy to the point that you're not paying attention. And this does not just only apply to the men, even to women as well. Something I discovered is that, as a woman, you could become so busy with the house chores, taking care of your children. Sometimes children, they have a way of turning the attention of the woman away from their husband. But you've got to understand that before the children came, your husband was deaf. He was there first. So you've got to give attention to this stuff. Make no mistakes about this. Give attention. When communications line are open, you will give attention to your spouse. You will listen more to your spouse. You will get to know some of these things. Very important. Now, another foundation that you must build on is the foundation patience. Oh, I tell you, one of the best marriage counseling I received was from my mother. I received a lot of marriage counseling, okay? But this one stayed with me a great deal. She said, if you want your marriage to be a lasting one, he said, put on the clothes or the cloak of patience. And this has helped me a great deal. It prepared my heart, prepared my mind for what I was going to expect. And you can do the same. Be patient with your spouse. Be patient with your spouse. Yes, I'm telling you, be patient with your spouse. Be patient with yourself as well. Be patient with your children. When it comes to marriage, patience is in different phases and different categories. There is a level of patience that you need to direct to your spouse. There's a level of patience you need to direct to yourself. There's a level of patience you need to direct to your children. This is so important. So this is something that you actually need to work on. Patience, very important. And then another foundation that your marriage needs to be built on is forgiveness. Learn to forgive. Learn to forgive again and again. Learn to forgive. It will help you a great deal. Learn it. You've got to learn it. Build on this foundation. And finally, listening. I already spoke about it. Learn to listen. Learn to listen. Listen to your spouse. Don't say, you talk too much. No, listen to them. Whatever it is that they are saying, listen to them. And not just your spouse, even to your children. Learn to pay attention to your children so that you get to know what they want from you. And accordingly, you build your marriage, you build your relationship. So that will be all for this video. I believe you've gotten value from it. If you have done so, let me know about it in the comment box. And don't forget to like this video and share with your friends and family. And if you haven't subscribed, do so. Subscribe to the channel because I keep coming up with beautiful stuffs like this. So that'll be all for now. If you want my new book, you can also opt for it. I've taken out time to write that book. It will bless you a great deal. The title of that book is Marriage Made Easy, a 14 days devotional that will help you to make the right choices, make the right decisions in your marriage. So that'll be all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, God bless you.